Hello, my name is Brian Smith and welcome to my office. You can watch this seminar as a YouTube video or listen to it as a podcast. And if you'd like more detail, then you can get an article from my website, which is in the links below. My seminars are about the life sciences industry, which is an industry that I've worked in for 40 years now. I'm fascinated by the evolution of business models and strategy, and my aim is to tell you something about that is relevant and original. If I manage to do that, then please like, subscribe and share with your colleagues. And if you want to know more about my research, then mail me and we can have a cup of tea together, either virtually or in person. I spend some of my time coaching strategists in the life sciences industry. One thing that I've noticed is that strategic ability is much like music ability. Some people have an innate talent, others don't. Now, this has important practical implications, so let me explain what that means for you and for your company. You see, we know that many individual traits are the result of interaction between genes and the environment. So, for example, musicality has a strong genetic component, but it's also influenced by access to musical instruments and to teaching. So, these two things are connected because children who show musical ability influence their parents who buy them instruments and pay for lessons. But we also know that most traits are polygenic. That is, we don't have a singular musical gene. We have a set of genes that predispose us towards musicality, including predispositions towards rhythm, pitch, and melodic perception. The same is almost certainly true for strategic ability. There isn't a gene for strategy. We probably have a set of genes that predispose us towards being a good strategist. Now, this has important implications for how we select and develop and train senior executives who write strategy for life science companies. Virtuoso musicians, for example, show early promise and then grow into a Bach or a Mozart. In the same way, great strategists are born with some genes for strategy, but they don't come out of the womb strategizing. Like musicians, virtuoso strategists have to be identified early and then developed to their full potential. But this raises an interesting question, doesn't it? If a musical prodigy is characterized by their rhythm, their pitch, and their sense of melody, what is it that marks out a potential strategic virtuoso? I've spent a lot of time observing strategists in life science companies, and I've noticed four key differences between natural-born strategists and others. I've described these in detail in the accompanying paper that you can get from my site, but I can summarize them in the acronym FACT, F-A-C-T. F is for the way that natural-born strategists frame situations. A is for the way that they ask questions. C is for the strategist's instinct to concentrate resources. And T is for the way that they allocate tasks to the implementers of the strategy. These behaviours seem to have an innate component, and people who show these traits have strong strategic abilities in the same way that musicians show pitch, rhythm, and melodic perception. Now, this doesn't mean that if you don't show these four traits, you can't be a strategist. I have very limited musical ability, for example, but with a good teacher and lots of practice, I'm becoming a reasonable saxophonist. But what I want you to take away from this seminar is that how you develop strategists in your company has to fit with their strategic innate abilities. This is what I do when I'm coaching strategists in pharma and medtech companies. If I'm working with an innately talented strategist, I coach them one way. If I'm working with someone whose talents are limited, I coach them another way. Just like music, everyone has some potential to be a strategist, and the trick to realizing their potential is to personalize their development. Now, this personalized approach may sound like common sense, but it's far from common practice. Most firms use short, standardized courses. This cookie cutter approach ignores the differences between individuals. And no wonder these cookie cutter courses don't achieve very good results. So the takeaway from this seminar is that if you want to be a great strategist, your first step is to understand what you were born with and then build on that. So thank you for joining this seminar. If you found it worth your time, please like, subscribe and share with your colleagues. If you would like to read my article about innate strategic abilities in pharma and medtech companies, then see the link below, and you'll also find hundreds of other articles there too. Better still, let's have a cup of tea and a chat, either in person or virtually. you can set that up on my website too. I'd love to hear from you.